The hype is real. Xuan is here, and she's cracked. Let me tell you how to use her. What's going on, YouTube? Ledger here once again. This time, actually giving some more Honkai Star Rail, of course, and I want to talk about Xuan. Xuan is right around the corner. The time of recording, she should be coming out actually tonight in Asia and tomorrow for me over here in NA. And I can't wait. I can't wait to put her on my team with Sealy. I'm gonna, put her on other teams too. She's gonna work great everywhere. I kind of want to come to you guys and break down how to use her, how well she's going to work. Now, granted, I'm talking about her prior to her release. So because of that, for those people who are trying to double down and make sure they're making a smart decision, of course, wait until she comes out, see the testing, see what people say about her, things like that, to get the whole complete package. But let's face it, not everybody's gonna do that. Not everybody's gonna wait a couple days in order to get her and see how the testing goes. A lot of you guys are getting her day one. You already made up your minds and you're trying to figure out. You're like, all right, she's here. I'm getting her. I don't care about any of that. So just tell me how to use her. All right, fine. Let me do that for you.
The cycles of yin and yang never cease.
First, let's talk about Xuan's kit, right? Now, the thing with Xuan's kit is that there's a lot of things that she does. Because as many of you probably heard, it's as if she's a preservation unit, a harmony unit, and an abundance unit, because she heals, she buffs, and she protects. At this point in the game, of course, she's going to be the ultimate preservation character, right? She has even more utility than Luocha, I would say. Now, I'm not right out saying that she's better than Luocha. She's going to need to come out first in order for us to really see that. But kind of based on what I see on paper, that might be the case. So why do I say that? Because one of Luocha's main issues is that he does not prevent you from getting one shot, right? Now, in a lot of the content, that's not really an issue, which is why Luocha is so cracked. But as we see, sometimes that is an issue. And that's not going to happen with Xuan. Why? Because what Xuan does is, instead of making a shield like Japard for preservation, she protects the team by reducing the damage that they take altogether. And then from that reduced damage, she then mitigates that damage to herself, right? So they're taking even less damage. And then from there, when she takes a certain amount of damage, she can heal herself back up. And because she scales off of HP, because she is a tanky unit, chances are she's not going to die. With that alone, she does a really good job of protecting the team. But there's more to it than that too, right? Because not only is she protecting the team with that, but also, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit, she also heals the team themselves whenever she does her burst, right, with one of her traces. And then when she has her skill up, which is what really allows her to do all the protection that I was talking about, she's going to raise the max HP of the team to make the team itself a little tankier. And she's going to raise the crit rate of the team, really helping out the damage dealers of the team. And hey, who knows, maybe she might be one of the damage dealers too. But, let's focus on just making her do enough protection. She's buffing crit rate, which is a rare ability. You don't see a lot of units buffing people's crit rate. I think the only unit that we have right now, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe Yukong is the only person that really does that. So that's beautiful. That's invaluable, right? And if you put the broken kill shot on her, then she's also going to raise your crit damage too. So that's just a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. She protects the team while also buffing them in those senses. And she's also healing the team. So she's doing all that just from her skill. Well, most of it is from her skill. So she has 100% uptime on these things. So with all those things, that makes her possibly the ultimate protection you can have for the team, okay? Well, a lot of you guys know this, but if you didn't, there you go. But now, what do you do in order to make sure she does that for you and she does it well? Well, let's take a look. Let's start with the light combs. So if we take a look at the different preservation light combs that we do have, right? Now, her best in slot is going to be, she already shut her eyes right here, right? So this is her signature light cone. Well, first of all artwork for it is beautiful. I'm getting out the light cone just for that. But you know, in terms to, and just to stick on the topic, of course, this is going to be a signature light cone. It's going to be great for her, right? Obviously, it's a signature. It gives you a lot of HP. The attack doesn't matter whatsoever. It gives her a good amount of defense too, right? And I'm going to touch on that a little bit more, but she does like defense because she is going to be taking a lot of damage. So it reduces the wearer's max HP. It increases the wearer's max HP. It increases their energy recharge rate, right? Regeneration rate, and it also gives a small little damage bonus to the entire team. Beautiful. Then it also, at the beginning of each phase, restores HP equal to 80% of HP already lost by the character themselves for the team. So this is basically a feature that's really going to help you in MOC, which, you know, people sometimes downplay, but I think that's great because guess what? Typically the hardest content in the game, besides the swarm, of course, is the typical end game is MOC, and this light cone is going to help you mainly in MOC, which is great, which is awesome, right? Now, I don't know if this is going to work in boss phases. I'm assuming it does not, but I don't know, okay? So that's something that we're going to be able to see day one, right? As soon as she comes out in Asia, we're all going to know, okay? But from what I can surmise is that it doesn't work with boss waves. If it does, beautiful. This light cone is even better, all right? But yeah, so that's the thing. This light cone is the best light cone without a doubt. Not everybody is going to be getting that light cone, right? Matter of fact, you probably shouldn't get the light cone. Why? Because you have so many other options you can choose, other great options you can choose. So if we take a look at the light cones, right? The second best light cone I'd say that you can get for her is going to be Texture of Memories. This is the Herder Store light cone. Let's look at that S1 for now, then I'll show you what it does at S5, because a lot of you are going to be able to get S5. So it increases the wearer's effect resistance by 8%. Beautiful, because what people sometimes underestimate is that Fu Xuan really likes effect resistance. She loves it. She loves it so much because if she is crowd controlled, your team is in trouble, okay? If she's crowd controlled, your team is in trouble. As we'll see too in the traces, that she can block one instance of crowd control per time she uses her E. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes things can happen more than once before she gets her turn again. To make sure that she does not get that crowd control debuff, you want her to have effect resistance. So she loves that. Then, if the wearer's attacked and has no shield, then she's going to gain a shield. And the shield scales off of her max HP. Her max HP is going to be big if you're building her correctly. Therefore, that shield is going to be okay. It's going to be pretty good, better than the other preservation unit shield when they have this weapon, right? Beautiful thing. Another beautiful one right there, right? And she's going to be taking damage all the time. And it's also going to reduce the damage that she does take right off the bat. But then you get her over to S5. Now you're getting 16% effect resistance. You're getting 32% of the max HP for the shield, and you're getting 24% damage reduction. It's a great light cone for her. I say the second best. One of the reasons why I say the second best too is because it has a high base HP, and she really loves HP. So that's another thing right there. So this light cone, I say number 2, hands down, right? I love it, I love it, I love it. All right, well, actually I say hands down, but she does have other great options. Now, when I talk about these other great options, let's talk about this one right here, Landau's Choice. Landau's Choice, whether you have it at level S1 or S5, is a great choice right here. Why? Because it is increasing the likelihood she's going to be attacked. So because she's getting attacked more, she's able to reduce more damage for the team. So she doesn't have to worry about the damage being mitigated, just worry about her healing herself, because she's always going to be able to heal herself consistently. And when she's getting hit, she's getting more energy. So she's healing herself over and over and over and over again. She's not going to die. So with her getting more aggro, that's even better. She's protecting the team even better now, right? So Landau's Choice and the Herder Store light cone are both very good. I do place Herder Store light cone over it, but this is also another great choice right there. Now I want to talk about the other light cones, because a lot of the other ones, what they do is they increase defense. And one thing that I've been seeing going around, people have been saying these other light cones aren't going to be good on her because, you know, they don't raise max HP, you know, things like that. And I'm gonna have to disagree, respectfully. I'm gonna have to disagree. Because the fact of the matter is, she is taking a lot of damage. And the damage that she is taking does have to go through her defense. And if she has higher defense, then she is winning. She does want high defense. She does like defense. If you get a defense substat, that is not a loss. You want defense. You don't want it more than HP because she doesn't directly scale from defense when it comes to her abilities. But if she has defense, she's staying alive. But she's taking more hits and she's staying alive longer. So stuff that does give you defense isn't going to be too bad, right? So something like this, day one of my new life. If you have something like this already leveled up, you get 60% defense at S1. That's just fine. She will take the defense gladly. She will do a great job with it. Then after entering battle, increases all type resistance of all allies by 8%, right? So now the whole team takes less damage. You have it at S5, it looks even better right there, right? So that's another one right there. Day one of my new life. Another great option right there. I put it right under Landau's choice. And then you have the other ones, Then you have ones like Japar's Light Cone, which is okay. Some of the passive does not work for her. Like the effect hit rate doesn't do much. It gives her a lot of defense, which she likes defense, but like I would prefer ones with passives that does help her more directly in terms of her kit, things like that. And then you have these other ones right here, which I'm not gonna even go over them because I wouldn't consider them over the ones that I just talked about. I think the ones that you should use are the ones that I just mentioned right there. Her main light cone being number 1, her light cone being number 2, Landau choice being number 3. 2 and 3 are very close to each other. And then day one of my new life, number 4, and then all the others below that, including Japar's light cone right there if you want to do that. Now let's talk about relics.
All elements of the past have taken their places.
So if you look over at my MC, right, she has the relics that I have set for Fu Xuan. Now, for the relics I have for Fu Xuan, right, as you can see here, I have 4-piece set Wuthering Snow and 2-piece Broken Keel for the planar set, right? Am I saying that you should get the 4-piece Wuthering Snow? No, right? I'm not saying that, right? What I do think she should be getting is 2-piece sets. 2-piece HP. So like, for example, this would be a good piece right here. HP, speed, effect, resistance. So HP right here would be good for her, right? 2-piece HP set, 2-piece Wuthering, so get the damage resistance. I'd say that's the best 2-piece combination. But you can always do maybe 2-piece speed, things like that. But I think the best combination is HP and Wuthering for the damage reduction. But the reason I'm doing the 4-piece is one, substats, because I have a couple good pieces with that, So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing 4-piece. But number 2 is that now this is going to take some time to get used to. But my whole theory too is that I'm trying to see that because when it comes to her healing herself, she heals herself when she gets below 50 HP, right? But she doesn't always do it automatically. Sometimes she needs to have like a stack in order to do it. And she gets stacks from using her burst. So my thought process is, okay, well, what if I don't have her burst up? Then this 4-piece set is going to help me out. If I don't have her burst up, then when her turn begins, she's going to recover some HP and she's going to get some energy, and maybe that might be able to give me my burst so I can use it, right? So it can help me out a little bit, right? Now, people can argue, okay, well, the 60% might add more value. Well, I have a piece that's giving me 16% HP, so I'm getting it, right? So you can take it. So always take your substats into account. It's very important to do that, right? Because sometimes you might realize that you are getting that 60% HP from your substats anyway. So it's fine. And as you can see, all the pieces do have a HP substat unless they have the main stat. So there we go. Can't believe I forgot this too. But when we're talking about her relics, the main stats that you do want, you probably, like I did show it a little bit when I was going through the relics, but you want her to have an HP body, you want her to have speed boots, you want her to have an HP sphere, and you want to have ER rope, okay? I believe I did skip over the HP body and the speed boots there, so make sure you guys get that on there with her, okay? So those are the recommendations when it comes to that, right? So the subsets you're looking for HP, number 1. You're looking for effect resistance, right? And speed. I'd say those are tied for 2 and 3 right there, right? And then once you have those, then you can start maybe stacking some crit rate and crit damage. From there, yeah, you can start the crit rate and crit damage, or even defense, right? Either or is fine. If you want her to deal some damage, then you can do that. If you don't really care about dealing damage, you don't have enough substats to really worry about that, then just worry about defense instead, okay? For that last substat. And yeah, that's when it comes to her relics for the 4-piece set. Now for the planar set, now for the sphere, you want to use HP. No quantum. Even if you want her to be a damage dealer, you should probably still have her do HP, because she scales very well with HP when it comes to the damage that she's dealing. And it's not going to affect her damage as much, and it's going to help her tankiness too, which is her main focus, okay? Now, if you put, quantum on her, just know that, you're playing games, and you have fun doing what you want to do, of course. Just know the right thing to do, okay? Have fun, of course. So you want her to have an HP orb, and then you want her to have an ER rope, okay? Yeah, sometimes you might be able to put HP on it, but I'd say the most optimal is going to put an ER rope, because you want her to keep spamming on her burst, because 1, it looks beautiful, and 2, it helps heal the team, okay? And then it helps heal her because it gives her that stack so she can heal herself, okay? So you want her to be able to burst a lot. Now, Broken Kill isn't the only option to use. You can also use the Fleet of the Ageless. Fleet of the Ageless is definitely an option that she can use because it gives HP. I was actually going to use this set myself because it gives her some more HP and it gives attack to the team. She's benefiting from everything. But the reason I decided to stick with this, the Broken Kill, because it gives her effect resistance. And I already talked about the benefit of effect resistance and everything like that. So I would say that's why I say this kind of edges out. Plus, the crit damage that you do give to the team does typically, for most DPSs, affect the damage more than 8% attack. So that's another thing when it comes to that. So it boosts the damage a little bit more for the team, and it gives her effect resistance she really likes, right? And especially since I have the 50% HP right here, substat, then it doesn't really matter because I have more than 12% now. So, hey, okay, we're good to go, okay? So that's really my recommendations when it comes to the relics for her. Oh, also too, just a minor note when it comes to that too with the planar set, it is a little bit more SP, it is a little bit more stamina efficient or trigger blades of power efficient to farm the Broken Kill because you're also getting Ruler Arena, which will be good for other characters like Dan Heng, like many other DPSs, and then Jing Liu too, if you're thinking of giving a Jing Liu. So yeah, keep that in mind too. Keep that in mind. Now, in order to talk about her traces here, from what we know about Fu Xuan's traces, they are actually pretty good. They're pretty good traces. Now, the first one right here, it's as long as you reactivate her E, her protection, her matrix of prescience, as long as you reactivate that while the previous one is activated, which you should be doing, there should be no downtime with that. It's going to help her regenerate 20 energy additionally, which is beautiful because she's bursting more, she's healing the team more, and she's making sure that she's able to heal herself when she goes under 50%. And then, as we've already talked about, when she uses her ultimate, she does heal the allies by a small amount, right? I'll tell you guys that Holyverse isn't watching me like that. It heals about 5% of her max HP. Not a lot, but if your team is often going to be taking pebbles for damage, so it's going to heal those pebbles back up and bring it back up to max HP a lot of the time, right? Another thing too, because of this trace, I want to bring to attention, just a little side note. When you're using her in MOC, right, this doesn't really matter, right? But when you're using her in maybe Swarm Disaster, I would say, instead of using her on the Preservation Pass, because of the stuff like this, maybe it might be worth to use her on the Abundance Path instead, right? Because if you use her on the Abundance Path, now she's protecting the team enough, right? She's protecting the team enough already. But then she's also healing them quite a lot too. She's healing them a lot, she's healing herself, and then she's getting the buffs from the Abundance Path, right? So just a little tidbit right there for the people who are struggling with Swarm Disaster. maybe using her on Abundance Path might be the better idea. You didn't hear from me though. We'll see how it goes. And then this trace right here, which I touched on too. A lot of words. Basically, what she's going to do is she's going to block debuffs from getting on the team, or crowd control debuffs for getting on the team, right? So when I say crowd control debuffs, I mean like wind shear is still going to get on you, but if they're trying to imprison you or if they're freezing you, things like that, she's going to block that one time per each time she uses Matrix of Prescience. So you have Matrix of Prescience, enemy got the big ice enemy that sprays the whole team and freezes a bunch of people. They're all going to block that freeze. They're not going to get frozen. It's going to be blocked. But then if they do another move to somebody else, then that person is going to get frozen if you don't reactivate the Matrix of Prescience again. Okay? So that's how it works, right? So even if they're attacking one person or attacking all the people, it's going to block it one time for that one instance. Okay? But that's beautiful. That is beautiful because a lot of times, let's say you get imprisoned, it knocks out from order of what your teammates are going, and then even when you heal them or you cleanse them, they're still lower down the line. But that's not going to affect them at all when you block that. So I do think it is better to block the crowd control getting on you at all than taking it off after it's already been there. So that's my whole thing when it comes to that right there. So this is a beautiful trace. So you want to make sure that you get her to at least 70 out of 80 if you do get her, right? She's a character that you want to get to 80 because she's going to have more HP that way. Just so you know, you do want her to get to at least 70 out of 80 so she can get that trace because it is a great trace. Very valuable. Then we can talk about her Eidolons. Her Eidolons are looking pretty good, especially early on. I'd say one of her best Eidolons is her E1. Based on what I can see here, of course, they're all subject to change when she's going to release very soon. So if I'm wrong, I'll put like a pinned comment down below on anything. But she's pretty close to release, so I highly doubt that something's going to be changed at this point. So her E1 is looking good because her E1, what it's going to do is it's going to give you 30% crit damage when she does her Matrix of Prescience to the team. Not only is she giving them 12% crit rate at level 10 for her skill level, but she's also giving 30% crit damage into the entire team too. So now she's doing crit rate and crit damage. That is beautiful. That adds so much power to the team. That just makes her a full-on harmony unit alongside full-on preservation and a little bit of abundance, right? It's cracked. It's beautiful. I kind of say that that's a stopping point when it comes to her Eidolons for those of you who are small spenders. Now, if you want to go a step further to E2 is good too. Because what E2 does is it basically gives her a revive, right? So, if one of your teammates does somehow die, then what she's able to do when the Matrix of Prescience is up, she's able to revive them essentially and bring them back up to 70% health, which is almost like fully healed, right? They're good to go. They're back in action. Now, this is really good. It sounds really good, but is it necessary, right? Because are your teammates going to be dying with her on the field? You know, like I think the only thing that this really comes in handy if like something happens and your Matrix of Prescience is not up and they take a whole lot of damage and now they're in the red and now they're in danger of dying. But if you're playing smart, you shouldn't really be doing that, right? So I don't really find this one necessary. When I first saw it, my eyes were open. I was like, wow, that's great. When you think about it, your characters really shouldn't be going that low, okay? But that's when it comes there. So I say E1 is a stopping point. Her E4 is whatever, it just gives her energy every time somebody's attacked when her Matrix of Prescience is up. And then her E6 is basically just turns her burst into to make it to hit like an absolute truck where she just kind of tallies up all the damage that the team has taken and essentially unleashes it in her burst, right? It's a strong, it just turns into a nuker. So she's going to be dealing damage as well as protecting the team a ridiculous amount. Yeah, but that's essentially how when it comes to building Fu Xuan, right? So when she's built, the type of stats you're gonna be looking for, I'm saying you're looking for maybe 7,000 to 8,000 HP. I'd say aim for 8,000 HP at the very least. 134 speed, so she can go, twice every few rotations, things like that. So That's one of the first speed break points, because you do want to have her go fast, because in case you do get, crowd control, hit with crowd control, you want her to be able to refresh that if she needs to be able to do so. So you do want to have her relatively fast, especially too in the beginning of fights. You don't want her to be going dead last. But that's essentially really what I want to get out about Fu Xuan. She's going to be a great unit. She's going to be the best preservation you're going to get. And I heavily implore people who do not have Luocha, even if you have Luocha, I do recommend it still, but I heavily implore people that especially do not have Luocha to get Fu Xuan. You do want that super strong sustain to help you out. You don't understand how easier, how smoother things go when you have a sustain that can just sustain by themselves and just do a phenomenal job at it, because now your damage dealers can just go crazy, right? It's a very big help for the team. So I do recommend her. I did make that whole video talking about, choose who you want, so on and so forth. And I do get that. And if you do have other ideas, things like that, then I don't want to push you over the edge or anything like that, but maybe I might be able to convince you to actually want Fu Xuan, all right? Because she is going to be good, she's going to be cracked, and you won't regret it if you are looking for somebody that can help you stay alive without having to do two sustained units on the team. So that's really my guide right there for you when it comes to Fu Xuan. I wish you guys the best of luck when it comes to your summons coming to tonight and tomorrow. And I will be doing testing on her and see how she goes and see if there's anything that I missed. All right. With that under there, legend out.